Have you ever seen a giraffe? They are so tall, it must be hard to take a bath. Speaking of giraffes, I have a story about that. I once knew a giraffe who was maybe a little daft. The giraffe I knew, his name is Mort. Mort liked to chew on leaves of all sorts. Mort was searching through the top of the trees, looking for the best of the leaves he could eat. He stepped a little left and heard something shriek. Mort jumped in fear clear off of his feet. He had no idea what that sound could be. Mort turned to look down, something he didn't often do. What he saw made him frown. There was a little brown thing under his shoe. "Hey there, who on earth are you? And why are you all colored brown? Why on earth would you make such a sound?" Mort asked. "Are you some sort of clown?" "Are you daft? Just like a tall giraffe, smelly from never taking a bath and never paying attention to what is in your path." "I'm a horse," the thing said with a small amount of sass, which should be obvious, of course, if you weren't so full of hot gas. "But what should I expect? You're just a selfish giraffe. My name is Blast, and for a horse, I'm very fast. At least that is until you stepped on my back. Now I can't move because of your lack of paying attention to what was in your path." Mort felt bad. Have you ever seen a giraffe that was sad? A tear fell down, sad that he had hurt the lad. "I can try to make it up to you, at least maybe a tad. What do you eat? I can bring you some back." "That would help," was the reply from Blast. "My favorite is apples and fruit since you asked, which I could never get with my back in a cast." Blast cried as he tried to move, but it hurt so bad. He tried to get up, but couldn't move past. Mort could see that there was no way this horse he had met was going to get to eat. He couldn't even move, it was obvious to see, so what Blast really needed was to rest and some sleep, so he could heal from being caught under Mort's big clumsy feet. "I have a thought," Mort began to say. "I promise I can bring you what you sought. I could get you apples all day, or other fruits, or whatever you want. As with my long neck, I can see a long way. I'll make it up to you, I promise, okay?" Blast still wasn't happy, but he was even more so hungry, so he agreed to this promise from this big blundering thing. This giraffe who was daft, let's see if he can keep his word. It would be a test of Mort's integrity to see what a giraffe's promises might be worth. Just in time, in a short time, we shall see. Mort went off searching high and low. He shook out trees and looked everywhere for fruits to show. As he was looking, he found another tree that he felt needed a bit of shooking to see if something would fall that would help with the cooking. No apples could he find, but the leaves in it were so divine. He continued to stop at every leaf and vine, gnawing the tasty goodness, forgetting all about the time. The little horse waited. Blast was sorely disappointed. He watched as the daylight faded. His hunger became too much to avoid it. His tummy was starting to rumble. He didn't know if he could make it. As he started to stand and started to stumble, his back just couldn't take it. "Should know better than to trust a giraffe," he thought to himself with a level of sass that he knew was maybe a bit too crass. "Especially one that is selfish and daft. I should have known. I just could tell. He would never keep his word and probably take it back. To a giraffe, it must seem absurd to care about things like that." Blast was lonely, hungry, and hurt. He couldn't move. He was stuck laying in the dirt. A monkey flipped down from the tree above. Dropping to the ground, he gave Blast a little nudge. "What's with such a big frown?" the monkey asked the horse. "And what's with all the strange sounds going on like a pack of boars?" "I'm hungry and can't reach a food source," said Blast to the monkey, who asked with a shaky voice. "That daft giraffe stepped on my back. Now my luck seems to have me forced to wait on him to bring me snacks. That's if he can get over himself, of course." The monkey thought for a couple moments. "My name is Tackle. It's a strange name, I know it. But I have a specialty of finding apples. How about I bring you some to show it?" Tackle climbed off to the top of the nearest tree. He shook it around to see what would come free. Nothing fell, so he moved on with a leap. In each tree, there didn't seem to be any apples he could bring Blast to eat. Let's check in on Mort and see what he is up to. It seemed he found his sort of leaves he loved to chew. He had long forgot about the promise he had made. He had forgot what he had promised to had brought to poor Blast laying there in pain. Mort was wandering around, stomping and making tons of sound, paying absolutely no attention to anything that was on the ground. Tackle popped out of a tree to investigate what Mort had found. Tackle realized fast that Mort had forgot his oath to find food to bring back, whatever he could find as far as fruits and oats, to bring poor Blast after Mort had stepped on his back, treating him like he was some kind of doormat. Tackle looked at the ground around Mort. He saw all kinds of fruit that he could surely sort. Any of it would be awesome to bring back to the little horse. Tackle gathered what he could as Mort moved off chasing more leaves. "You know, you really should forget about those leaves and help your friend in need," Tackle called after Mort, who did his best to seem like he hadn't heard anything that Tackle had been saying. Soon Mort heard another call. He slipped as he turned and started to fall. It was a long way down since Mort was so tall. As his head hit the ground, he started to fall. He hurt so bad and had never been this close to the ground, which to him suddenly felt so cold. He looked around just in time to see the little horse that he had told that he would bring food and make sure would be fine. Blast just glared, staring at Mort with his mouth open and his teeth bared. Blast was angry at Mort's lack of integrity. "And here I thought you really cared. I should have known that even with my back blown, you would never be the type to share or keep the promises you made on your own or be the type of friend who would always be there." Mort said nothing. He laid in the mud sadly, realizing he had been selfish. He'd stopped caring too badly about the horse named Blast he left so easily and went off on his own, eating so greedily. Thankfully, Tackle didn't like it when others were mean. He really didn't like it when people made promises they didn't keep. As Tackle made his way back into the clearing, he brought with him armloads of food for Blast to eat. He hadn't promised to do so. He just wanted to help his new friend. He wanted to be able to show to Blast that it wasn't just a trend, to show him so he could know and put his trust in him. Because a loyal friend will help until the end, even at their own detriment. To make sure their friends are taken care of and let them see their sentiment. So they could know how much they are loved and that others care for how much they meant as a friend that would be there until the very end. He gave the fruit to both Mort and Blast to be the example of how a good friend should act. Blast was so grateful for some food at last, Mort was embarrassed by his selfish actions. He decided from that day that he would work hard to earn their trust, because Blast and Tackle, he had to say, were the best types of friends that having is a must to cheer you up on your darkest days. That keeping his promises would definitely be a must if he ever wanted to earn any of his friends' trust. The ones who keep their promises and be sure to help you out because they're great teammates all the way throughout. The good times and bad, whether their friends are happy or sad, the kind that keep promises that you can rely on, the kind that you can trust when others would step on your back. The kind that know the value of trust, and through integrity your words can mean a ton. Stay true to it and their value can be seen by everyone. With that sort of value, you have already won. The end. What did you learn from this story about integrity? Keeping your promises and staying true to your word. Living by the things that you say you believe in is important to showing others your strength of character and that you're a person who can be trusted and relied on. It's important to also show humility and admit your mistakes. Be transparent when you mess up. And do your best to show compassion and integrity to make it up to your friends moving forward. Be the best teammate that you can be. Be the best at being you.